Monday to you. Just wanted to give you the recap from this past week. Last week, we took a break from the life of Jesus and went and looked at a psalm back in the Old Testament. Of course, psalms being actual songs that they used to sing in worship or that someone would sing in worship. I don't know that they were necessarily congregational, but that's literally what the word psalm means. So you can remind your students of that. Parents, if you didn't know that, there's your trivia point for the day. But just a reminder to you, when you look at a psalm, it is literally a song. It's something that was sung, and it was something to get your attention and to remind you of God's truth. That's a cool thing that we know and we learn. A way to help you remember things is to set it to music. I wish we had some of the music for some of these, and you may look at it and go, Alan, that sounds like a terrible song. I love the meaning, but that doesn't sound like it flows or it has rhyme or rhythm. Remember, it was originally written in Hebrew, which that's a challenge in and of itself to sing, I think, to sing things in Hebrew. But it wasn't written in English, so we can't necessarily assume that it was written in a way that we would get it and memorize it as far as English stuff goes. Because it was originally written to a Hebrew audience and was sung in Hebrew, and it was a reminder to them as they went throughout their days and so forth. But anyway, I digress. We looked at Psalm 46, which is a great psalm. There are a couple verses that you might remember, and those verses are important because we want our students to remember this, and parents, we want you to remember this as well. Again, these were songs that were sung in worship, and the very first verse of Psalm 46 says this: God is our refuge and our strength, a very present help in times of trouble. What a great reminder to us. You know, in life, we will have trouble, but we can take heart because Jesus has overcome the world. But a great reminder, even from the Old Testament, is that God has created the world and God is with us in the midst of our times of trouble. So the very first point last week was that God is our refuge and strength. Notice, not God was, past tense, God is, current tense, our refuge, our shelter, our hiding place, our safe place from the storm. He's our refuge and our strength, a very present help in times of trouble. The first thing I want students to remember, and adults, we all need this too. Remember, find your hiding place, find your comfort, find your safe place in God alone. Let your identity be found in Him. Let your strength, let your comfort, let your safety be found in Him and in your identity in Him. Know that you are loved. Know that you are cared for. It wasn't a one-time thing, but it's an ongoing thing. God is our refuge and our strength, a very present help in times of trouble. I love this. The second part, and what we reminded our students, was to remember or to remind ourselves of this. The reality is there are days where you know things, but you need to be reminded of them. Are you with me? It's like you know so-and-so loves you. You know those things. But isn't it good to be just reminded of it? And especially when you're facing a difficulty, when those things seem huge. Even thinking about what Brother Matt preached on Sunday, you know, when the children of Israel were going through that time and everything around them seemed huge and God seemed really small, very distant, very far off. That's the time when we need to remember who God is, how big God is, how mighty and strong He is, because He is our refuge and our strength, a very present help in times of trouble. If you remember how amazing and how wonderful and how awesome our God is, it helps you take refuge in Him. He is our strength. We need to let Him be our strength. We need to find our strength in Him. And I love this. It said, a very present help in times of trouble. If you look at verse 2, it says, therefore. Why does it say therefore? Because you're supposed to go back and see what was said right before it. The statement that was made, God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in times of trouble. Wow. Think about it. The writer of this psalm said what? Therefore, we will not fear the storm. Therefore, we will not fear this. Though the earth should fall away, though it should slide away, we will take refuge in Him and rely on His strength and remember that He is with us. Church, that statement right there is mind-boggling. It says He is with us, a very present help in time of trouble. Not a distracted help. Oh, wait, what? You got something going on? Not an absentee help, but a very present, a very on-focused help in times of trouble. Listen, I don't know what you're going through today. There's all kinds of stuff that we experience in life. Some of it's very good. Some of it's very difficult. Remember this, in good and in bad. God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in time of trouble. The tense there is so important that we remember it's present tense and future tense. And truthfully, it also was in the past tense because it is now in the present. Truth. So remember that. God is our refuge and our strength, a very present help in times of trouble. The last thing we challenged each other to do was to practice this. It's one thing to know it. It's one thing to think about it, but it's another thing to trust it, right? A couple weeks ago, we did like a little mini example of this where I had somebody trust and fall into me. I said, hey, do you trust me? Yeah, I trust you, right? And I said, hey, well, then fall. And that's like, wait a minute, you want me to what? And sure enough, I said, fall on, and they fell, and I caught them, right? Now, by the way, we did that in a way that we didn't drop them. I mean, that would have been a terrible illustration. My goal is to build trust, not take it away. But as they saw that I was trustworthy, what were they able to do? To trust me again. It's one thing, again, to know something. It's another thing to actually do it. So parents and students, let's challenge each other. Let's help each other to practice the presence of God and to trust Him and know that He is our refuge and our strength, a very present help in times of trouble. I love it. If you look down, Psalm 46, go on down to verse 10, it says these words. It says, cease striving and know that He is God. I will be exalted among the nations. I will be exalted in the earth. In other words, stop fighting Him and trust Him. Choose to trust. It's what we got to do. Hey, listen, I hope this has been helpful for you. This week we've got a different lesson, so we'll have a recap next week. Hope you guys have a great day, and we'll look forward to seeing you soon. Hopefully we'll see you Wednesday, if not before. Have a great afternoon. See you.